Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to add 3-digit numbers. So our I can today is I can add 3-digit numbers and use estimation to check for reasonableness. So what that basically means is we're adding 3-digit numbers just like we have all week. And we are going to use estimating, which we have also practiced, to check to see if an answer is reasonable or not. So our I'll know I'm successful when is I'll know I can find the exact answer and the estimated answer in an addition problem. So what does it mean if an answer is reasonable? Well, when something is reasonable, it usually has to make sense. So being reasonable is it's a type of answer that is close to the exact answer and it makes sense. So today when we add, we're going to add and find the exact answer, which is usually what we do every time we add. But we're also going to find the estimated answer, which we have practiced before in previous lessons. And today we're just going to take it a step further. Does it make sense? And if it does not make sense, then that usually means maybe I made a mistake somewhere with my exact answer, and I go, oh my estimated answer and my exact answer are not even close. I might have done something wrong, and then I got to recheck something. So if it's reasonable, it makes sense, and then that's the clue to me that, oh, I did it right. And that's exactly what you want today. So step 1 is find the exact answer. So I have the problem 564 plus 37. So I'm going to take a look at my ones place. I made sure that my ones, tens, and hundreds were nice and organized so that I know that I'm adding the right number to each other. Make sure when you ever do the algorithm that you organize your problem and you make sure that the ones in each number are lined up and the tens are lined up with each other, and so are the hundreds. That way you're not adding the tens to the ones in the other number, because that would not make any sense. So please make sure that you organize your problem and it looks a little like mine. You don't have to have the lines, of course, but that just helps me to organize it. You can decide if you want to do that or if you would rather just not do the lines. But make sure that it's nice and lined up with each other. We are going to look at our ones place first, and let's look at 4 plus 7. So 4 plus 7. I know that 3 plus 7 gives us 10. So plus 1 more gives us 11. So I'm going to put the 1 from the ones place down under the 7. And then the ones from that 10 place in the number 11 is going to go on top of the other 10s. So now we have 1 plus 6 plus 3. And if I just give the 1 to the 6 to make it a 7, we have 7 plus 3. Oh, and I said that earlier. That gives us 10. So then I'm going to put the 0 down under the 3, and I'm going to carry the 1. It's going to go on top of the hundreds place. And then when I look at the hundreds, I have 1 plus 5, and we know that that is 6. So our final answer for getting our exact answer is 601. So I'm going to just write that down in the corner just so I don't forget about that, because we are not done yet. I do not want to forget that number, 601. You will see why in just a little bit. Step 2, estimate. So you are going to see that we still have the exact answer in the corner. Remember, I am going to do something else with that later, so I do not want to forget about that. And I'm going to look at the number, the first add-end that we had in that problem that we just solved earlier, and it was 564. Remember, the problem was 564 plus 37? Well, I'm going to look at the 564, and we are going to estimate. So this is where we are going to round the number. And then you get to decide when you get to do this on your own today. Do you want to round this number to the nearest 10 or the nearest 100? So that will be your choice later today. I'm going to decide to round this number to the nearest 10. So you'll see what that looks like. So when I round to the nearest 10, my tens place is going to change. I'm going to take a look at my ones place. And that's why I am going to circle that ones place. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, I have the number 4 is in the ones place. Is the number 5 or higher? Well, the number 4 is not 5. Oh, and it's not higher than 5. So no, it's not 5 or higher. So I'm going to ask myself another question. Is it 4 or lower? Well, our ones place is actually that 4. So yes, it is 4 or lower because it's the number 4. So if it was 5 or higher, my tens place would have gone up. But I already told you it's not 5 or higher, right? It's 4 or lower. So that means the tens place will stay the same. So I might say the word I'm going to round down, right? Because I'm not rounding up. My number's not going to go up. I'm rounding down. But when I round down, when I round to the nearest 10, that number is going to stay the same in the tens place. So the number 564 rounds down to 560. Remember, my tens place stayed the same, and now my ones place turned into a 0. So next we're going to round the number 37. Remember, that was the other addend in that problem that we solved earlier. So 37. Since I rounded to the nearest 10 earlier, I need to do that again. I'm not going to go, I'm going to decide to round to the nearest 100 this time. Nope, I need to round to the nearest 10 since I already decided that was I was going to round the other number to. So if I round to the nearest 10 for the first number, I need to round to the nearest 10 for the second number, okay? So I have the number 37. Just like last time, I underlined my tens place, and I'm circling my ones place. And I need to ask myself about the ones place. Is the ones place 5 or higher? If it is 5 or higher, I'm going to round up. If my ones place is 4 or lower, I round down. And then my tens place would stay the same. So I have a 7 in my ones place. Is that 5 or higher? Or is it 4 or lower? Well, 7 is higher than 5, so I would say it's 5 or higher. So that means I'm going to round up this time. And when I round up, my tens place goes up by 1. So now I have the number 40. And now I have a new problem, 560 plus 40. So this is going to be my estimated answer when I figure this out. And this time I am not going to use the algorithm just because I used it earlier. I am going to do it this way, where I'm going to add up my tens together and then my hundreds place. So I have 60 plus 40. And I know that 6 and 4 make 10. So 60 plus 40 makes 100. And then we have 500 plus 100 because we have only the 5 in that 100s place. And then we don't have another hundreds place in the number 40. So that's just 500. So then we have 500 plus 100. And that gives us 600. So right now we have two answers. We have our exact answer, which is what our I can said that we would have today. An exact answer and an estimated answer. That's our second answer over there on the right. So we have two answers. What do we do with these two answers? Well, that's where our second part of our I can comes in. I'm going to see if it is reasonable or not. Are these two answers reasonable? Are they close to each other? Are they very similar? Well, if I look at my exact answer, it's 601. And when we rounded and we estimated, we got 600. I would say those are very close to each other because they're only, what, one away. So one away, I would say that's very super close. So is my estimate reasonable? Yes, it is very reasonable. And I would say, because I would like to explain why, yes, it is reasonable because the answers are close to each other and are only one away. So remember today we added 3-digit numbers, and our goal today was I can add 3-digit numbers and use estimation to check for reasonableness. Remember, our first step was we added like normal, found our exact answer. Part 2 is we used estimation. We got an estimated answer. And then part 3 was we checked for reasonableness. Is it reasonable or is it not reasonable? And so we did all 3 of those things today. And I'll know I'm successful when I can find the exact answer and the estimated answer when I add.